going to expire on the game, so this either goes or it doesn't. Ball's still alive.
Oh, he got a block.
Blockers. They got blockers. They've got a lane. 40-yard line. No black shirts between the goal line. Can you believe what you just saw?
And let's welcome in the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, Mark Richt. Mark, I was reading a family member of yours recently said this is the happiest he has seen you in 20 years. Is that observation accurate?
I don't know if that's true. I probably look that way because I've dropped some weight. I've got a suntan and I'm smiling a little bit more maybe, but I am enjoying it here in Coral Gables. It's a beautiful place and wonderful campus, and enjoying getting to know the players and getting to work.
Of course, coming back home to your alma mater, you were at Georgia for 15 years. How closely did you follow Miami during that time?
I didn't follow that closely. I mean, I would watch scores and I'd look at highlights and things of that, but when you're, a head coach at any school, you're focused on what's happening there, and I was more apt to watch an SEC game that might affect our status than I would an ACC game at the time.
Well, you at least know the history. Haven't had a double-digit win season since your third season at Georgia back in 2003. That's something you did 8 times in that same span while you were at Georgia.
I think it was 9.
Well, I guess it depends on if you're including 03 or not. But
okay.
No, you're fine. It was 9. We'll get that resume fixed.
No, you're right. You're right.
But expectations, they're high in both places. So where do you believe Miami should be on an annual basis?
Right there fighting for the championship, period. I mean, that's where we need to be, and we'll get there. I don't know how quickly, but I'm not gonna put a lid on what can happen this year. I mean, we got a chance to be pretty good, but there's a lot of other pretty good teams as well that we'll play. So we'll see what happens. But the big thing is I just want to see us play Miami football and get after people's rear end and bring the excitement back.
You haven't started over in 15 years. So the transition of, hey, you want to hit the ground running, you want to win now, but you want to implement things that you want to do in the future. How do you find that balance?
Well, I think you're constantly building the foundation for the future, whether you're year 1 or year 2, 3 or 4, whatever it is. You're always, like, I'm spending time yesterday in 3 youth parks that play football. I'm talking to 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, knowing that one day they're going to be great players and we're going to be wanting them to go to the U. So, I'm not here for a short-term basis. I'm here for the long haul. But the bottom line is, if you do things right on a daily basis, and you don't shoot yourself in the foot, you got a chance to be really good around here.
Yeah, your expertise, of course, is at quarterback, former quarterback yourself. You've coached some good ones in the past. You've got a good one coming up in Brad Kaya. What have you been working with him on since you took the job?
Well, the big part is just learning the system, learning the language, learning all of our run checks, pass checks, our protections, when you're protected, when you're not, your hot principles. I mean, all those things in the system. And then, we work hard on footwork, ball handling, the whole thing. I mean, just from ground zero as if he was a true freshman because he's brand new in the system.
It's interesting because his trajectory certainly has been moving upward. How do you go about easing that transition for him, going into a new system with new terminology?
Well, we're not going to be super complicated. We're going to have good, sound running plays, passing plays, pass protections, the whole shebang. I'm going to give him a systematic way to think and read and progress and make decisions. And when he gets so bored with it because we do it over and over and over again, he'll be ready to go.
Almost becomes robotic at some point, you would think. From your experience in the SEC, and really anywhere, but specifically in that league, the facilities are so important. You've now been there for about 7 months or so. Whether it's the caliber or the location, how close are the facilities to where they need to be for you to recruit to them?
Right. Well, they're very close because, number one, we're about to put an indoor facility and a new football office complex right on our campus, right on our practice field. And so we're really excited about that. That's in the works. It'll probably be announced here relatively soon on the lead gift on the indoor. And the stadium that we get to play in is the Sun Life Stadium that the Dolphins play in. And, it's got the 2020 Super Bowl bid, so you're not going to get a Super Bowl bid unless it's a fantastic stadium. But roofs being put over top of it for shade, but also for the crowd noise issue. There'll be 4 giant screens. It'll be the most beautiful playing field you'll ever imagine. So we're really looking forward to playing in the new stadium.
And when it comes to that facilities upgrade, it has been announced, and you're, as you said, you're one of the foremost donors. You wanted to get that out there right away.
Right.
Why was that so important for you to do that?
Well, I want people to know that I'm all in, and I'm energized to get Miami where it belongs, and we're needed. Miami needs it, and it's my alma mater too, so that made it just that much easier.
Mark Richt, head coach of Miami. Looking forward to seeing you there in Coral Gables. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
3 of Miami's first 4 opponents lost at least 9 games last season: FAMU, FAU, and Georgia Tech. Miami also playing 4 teams in a 6-game stretch that won at least 10 games a season ago. According to our Football Power Index, Miami a projected favorite in 9 of its 12 regular season games. See that game against Virginia Tech? Look at the dates. October 15th, North Carolina, and then 4 days rest. And then you go to Blacksburg on October 20th, and then a game in South Bend at 9 days after that. He wants to hit the ground running. He's got such a track record of success. Maybe I got that 9-win thing incorrect. We'll hire him as a researcher when he's done at Miami. But how do you see him transitioning here?
The number one most important thing I believe he's done is he's gone back to coaching ball. You know, he's not just the head coach. He's removed himself from that CEO role. He's coaching the quarterback individually. He is coaching the offense, calling the plays. I think that has revitalized him a little bit, got the juices flowing. And listen, when you're a new head coach and you step into a situation with a built-in quarterback, some wideouts, good offensive line, edge pass rushers, you've got a pretty good situation to start out with.
And an indoor facility on the way. He's spinning positively on where they actually play college football there at the Miami Dolphins Stadium. What would you expect him to say?
Yeah, that's right.
Good stuff. You got to sell it. That's Miami and head coach Mark Richt.